and Princess Diana's legacy should not be treated as a soft family story. On the surface, it sounds simple and emotional. Two brothers who lost their mother as boys may be brought together again, because 2027 marks 30 years since Diana, Princess of Wales, died in Paris on the 31st of August, 1997. The Diana Award is reportedly considering a program of events to mark that anniversary, and because William and Harry both remain connected to the charity, commentators have immediately begun asking whether the brothers could appear at the same tribute. That framing is powerful because Diana still occupies a unique place in the public imagination. People remember the shock of her death, the flowers outside Kensington Palace, the two young princes walking behind the coffin, and the sense that something had cracked open between the royal family and the country.
Well, the palace PR games have started. Prince William is rumoured to be furious, and he is backed into a corner. Truly, what I am going to share with you, I think you will find mind-blowing, because we're seeing Diana's legacy used. And there is always a value when it comes to the palace, Harry and Meghan. Oh yes, there's always a value for exploiting trauma. So on one side, we've got Prince William, who is fueled by duty. And then on the other side, we have an institution and Prince Harry and Meghan that are...
So when Diana's name is placed at the centre of a possible William and Harry reunion, many people instinctively soften. They think of grief before politics, motherhood before media strategy, and memory before calculation. But that is exactly why this story needs to be examined carefully. Diana's legacy is emotionally priceless. And because it is priceless emotionally, it is also extremely valuable publicly. The central question is not whether Harry and William have the right to honour their mother. Of course they do. No commentator, journalist, palace official, or member of the public owns Diana more than her sons do. Their grief is real, and nothing that has happened since can erase the trauma of losing a parent so young and so publicly. The question is different. It is whether Diana's name is now being used as the only remaining bridge strong enough to carry a wider public relations operation. Harry and Meghan's standing in Britain has been fragile for years. Invicta still has a noble core, but the public conversation around it has often been dragged into arguments about celebrity, security, money, Netflix, and the Sussex brand. Their censorship and online safety campaigns have supporters, but they have also raised concerns among free speech advocates. Meghan's lifestyle projects generate attention, but not always credibility. In that landscape, Diana remains the most emotionally resonant card available. She connects Harry to sympathy. She connects Meghan to royal mythology. She connects the palace to nostalgia. And she places Prince William in an almost impossible position, because saying no to anything attached to Diana can easily be made to look cold, bitter, or unfilial. That is why reports about a possible Diana Award gala matter. According to reporting repeated across multiple outlets, the charity is believed to be looking at events around the 30th anniversary, with a black tie gala suggested as a possible centerpiece. The reports also suggest that the timing could align with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's expected presence in Britain for the Invictus Games in Birmingham, which officially run from July 10 to July 17.
English at the Daily Mail and part of the Royal Rota, they may dutifully write what they're told to write, but this is the story with no PR spin. This is the channel Harry and Meghan don't want you to watch. So let's get into Harry and what is going on, because Prince William is being used by Harry and the establishment. You are being spun a web of lies. And if you thought Project Thor was taking a break, I'm afraid to tell you it is going to continue to
2027. That detail is where critics begin asking questions. Diana died on August 31. If the purpose of a tribute is to mark the actual 30th anniversary of her passing, why would the key event be built around Harry's July travel schedule rather than the anniversary date itself? There may be perfectly practical answers Charities plan around venue availability, donor calendars, summer schedules, royal diaries, school holidays, media interest, and countless logistical problems the public never sees. But symbolism matters in royal life. If a Diana tribute is scheduled in a way that conveniently overlaps with Harry and Meghan's Invictus presence, skeptics will naturally ask whether the event is being shaped around Diana or around the Sussex calendar. The Diana Award itself has already tried to cool the speculation, reportedly saying that no plans have been agreed and no decisions have been made about attendance or participation. That is important. Nothing is settled. It would be wrong to state that William and Harry are definitely being placed in the same room, or that Meghan is definitely being folded into the anniversary programme, or that the palace has signed off on a managed reconciliation scene. But royal stories often begin as soft possibilities before they harden into reality. The public has learnt to watch the early briefings because they are frequently used to test reaction. A story appears in the press, commentators discuss it, the public reacts, palace sources watch. Sussex sources watch. The temperature is taken. If the outrage is too strong, the idea can be denied as speculation. If the response is manageable, the idea can move forward. That is why people are suspicious. Not because every rumour is true, but because royal public relations often works in layers. The history of William and Harry's public Diana appearances shows why this moment is so charged. In 2017, around the 20th anniversary of Diana's death,
into this headline that's broken in the Daily Mail. So they have run the headline, "Will Harry and William call a truce and both attend a tribute event to mark the 30th anniversary of Diana's death?" This is a big problem. Ding, 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 ding! I've long said, just someone in the palace, okay, wake up, get Prince William, put him in bubble wrap. And then when you've put him in bubble wrap once, I want you to do it again. And then I want you to keep him, his image, his name, his family, as far away from the establishment and Harry.
The brothers were still publicly united enough to appear together and speak about her memory in a way that felt painful but coherent. In 2021, they unveiled the Diana statue in the sunken garden at Kensington Palace. And even then, when their relationship was already strained, the event was controlled, brief, and carefully limited. By 2024, at the Diana Awards' 25th anniversary event, William appeared in person while Harry joined separately by video, which told the public almost everything it needed to know. The brothers could still support the same cause, but not necessarily share the same room. That model may be the safest one, unless something has truly changed behind the scenes. Shared service does not require forced proximity. If the charity's purpose is young people, then young people should be the center of the moment, not the unresolved emotional geography between two princes. Prince William is the figure most exposed by this. Harry can gain from proximity. Meghan can gain from proximity. The palace can gain from the appearance of family healing. The Diana Award can gain attention, fundraising, and global visibility. But William carries the reputational risk of being seen either as unforgiving if he stays away, or as weak if he attends an event that appears to help rehabilitate Harry without trust being rebuilt first. William's position is especially difficult because the estrangement is not simply a matter of brothers drifting apart. Harry's memoir Spare, the Oprah interview, the Netflix series, and years of public complaint have all changed the terms of the relationship. The Prince and Princess of Wales were not just collateral figures. They were directly discussed, criticised, and pulled into the Sussex narrative. Catherine, in particular, became part of stories that hardened public opinion on both sides. So the idea that William could simply stand beside Harry under the banner of Diana, smile for the cameras, and pretend the last several years did not happen is not realistic.
During his recent return to the UK earlier this month, in which he reunited King Charles with his estranged grandchildren at Highgrove, the brothers are understood not to have spoken in person since the late Queen's funeral in 2022. And even that was brief, but it could be set to change. The Diana Award charity is believed to be orchestrating a series of events to commemorate the 30th anniversary of Princess Diana's death in 2027, according to reports in the Mail on Sunday. Both Harry and William serve as patron for the charity, which was established.
If there is to be private reconciliation one day, that is one thing. A public performance of reconciliation before private trust exists would be something else entirely. This is where Diana's memory becomes so delicate. William tends to honour her through causes that align with a longer pattern of duty: homelessness, mental health, children's welfare, and the slow, often unglamorous work of public service. He rarely turns Diana into a brand object. He invokes her carefully, usually when the cause itself justifies it. Harry's approach has often been more personal, more emotional, and more media-facing. That does not automatically make it wrong. Different sons process grief differently. But Harry has also repeatedly placed Diana at the centre of his own public story, from the trauma of the funeral walk to his battles with the press, his views on royal life, his fears for Meghan, and his sense of mission. For supporters, that is understandable because Diana's death shaped everything. For critics, it begins to look like a renewable source of sympathy and relevance. The tension is not whether Harry loved his mother. The tension is whether the public is being asked to treat every use of Diana's legacy as above criticism because it comes wrapped in grief. Meghan's role intensifies the issue. Recent reporting and commentary focused on Meghan sharing family photos from a European summer holiday, including images widely interpreted as connected to a visit to Althorpe, Diana's childhood home and burial place. For supporters, the images showed Harry introducing his children to their grandmother's memory, a private family moment with obvious emotional meaning. For critics, sharing images from a visit associated with Diana's resting place crossed a line because it turned a sacred family memory into social media content. Again, the truth may be more nuanced. Meghan may have intended the images as a quiet tribute. The children have every right to know their grandmother's story. Harry has every right to take them to Althorpe. But the choice to post any image that invites public speculation about Diana's grave is not neutral.
Honours his mother's legacy. He honours it through duty, and he does it in the most respectful way. And actually, there are so many similarities between Prince William and Diana. But nothing is sacred for Harry and Meghan. So there is a price for this. And it's interesting that the Mail neglect to talk when they talk about Invictus. They neglect to talk about the fact that veterans have been blocked on X for asking questions about financial transparency relating to.
Once it appears online, it becomes part of the Sussex media ecosystem. And that ecosystem has commercial, reputational, and strategic value. This is why William is often described as furious or deeply unhappy when Diana's memory is placed into the Sussex public narrative. Whether the exact emotion is known only to him, the logic is easy to understand. Diana was his mother too. Her memory does not belong only to the son, who speaks most often about trauma. William has chosen a different public style, and that restraint should not be mistaken for lack of feeling. In fact, his restraint may be part of his protection of her. He has lived with the same loss, the same funeral images, the same childhood wound, and the same global fascination. If he now sees Diana's memory repeatedly used in ways that create headlines, content, speculation, and possible entertainment projects, he may reasonably feel that her legacy is being pulled into a machine from which she cannot defend herself. The possible documentary layer makes the concern even sharper. A new documentary series, Diana: The Unheard Truth, is set for release in 2027 and is expected to use previously unreleased audio recordings linked to Diana's conversations with Dr. James Colthurst, which were connected to the material behind Andrew Morton's Diana: Her True Story. Separately, there have been rumors and speculation about Netflix or other producers being interested in Diana-related content around the anniversary. Diana documentaries are nothing new. Her life has been retold endlessly through tapes, interviews, dramatizations, archive footage, and anniversary programming. but the 30th anniversary will almost certainly produce a new wave of content. That creates a media environment in which everyone attached to Diana becomes more valuable. William, Harry, the Spencer family, the palace, Netflix, charities, documentary makers, publishers.
Wales gravitate towards areas where normally people would go, oh, I'm not going near that. Homelessness, addiction. These are not glossy branding board areas that you would see Harry and Meghan turn up for. And this is the stark contrast, because the minute Harry and Meghan get near to publicly exploiting Diana's legacy, their value and their currency in the public domain goes right up. Netflix don't give two hoots about...
And commentators. The danger is that remembrance becomes an industry. There is a legitimate case for documenting Diana's life in her own words. She was one of the most scrutinized women in modern history. And if recordings allow audiences to understand her voice, her pain, and her perspective more directly, that can have value. But there is also a danger in reopening the same wounds every decade, as though the public is owed endless access to a dead woman's private suffering. Diana's story includes her compassion, glamour, loneliness, media torment, marital pain, and complex relationship with the institution. It is not simply content. The more her old tapes are marketed, repackaged, and timed around anniversaries, the more the public should ask whether the exercise serves understanding or consumption. That question applies to broadcasters, streaming platforms, newspapers, charities, palisades, and royal commentators alike. There is another uncomfortable truth. The public's love for Diana has often been used to flatten her into whatever symbol people need at the time. To monarchists, she can become proof that royalty still has emotional magic. To Republicans, she can become proof that the institution destroys vulnerable people. To Harry's supporters, she becomes the mother whose trauma explains his rebellion. To William's supporters, she becomes the mother whose dignity is best protected through restraint. To the press, she remains the most reliable royal story of the modern age. But Diana was not simply a symbol. She was a complicated woman, a mother, a public figure, a wounded person, and a skilled communicator who understood cameras even as she suffered from them. Any anniversary that reduces her to a useful emotional tool misses the point. If the 30th anniversary becomes a competition over who owns her memory, then the commemoration has already gone wrong.
So why is this gala dinner going to coincide with when Harry and Meghan are in the UK? This is a huge alarm bell, and the devil is always in the detail. And that's why you never get any truth from the Royal Rota, because they're so busy just copy and pasting the press releases. About time some of these journalists asked these questions, because this is looking like a gala dinner that is working with Harry to accommodate his schedule. Otherwise, why not just do it at the end?
Harry's wider legal and charitable controversies sit awkwardly beside this Diana anniversary narrative. In July 2026, his privacy case against Associated Newspapers, publisher of the Daily Mail and Mail on Sunday, was dismissed by the High Court. Harry and other high-profile claimants had alleged unlawful information gathering, but the judge found that the claims had not been proven. Associated Newspapers described the judgment as a major victory. Harry and some co-claimants criticized the outcome. The case also produced uncomfortable reporting about witness evidence, legal strategy, and past relationships with journalists, including renewed attention on Charlotte Griffiths and claims she made about her previous acquaintance with Harry. Those claims should be treated as her account, not as court-proven moral conclusions. But the broader point is that Harry's campaign against the press has not unfolded as a clean moral crusade. It has become legally, financially, and reputationally messy. That matters because Harry often links his conflict with the press back to Diana. He has spoken many times about the role he believes media pressure played in his mother's life and death, and he has framed his battles with tabloids as part of a larger attempt to protect his family. Many people sympathize with that instinct. The press did treat Diana brutally at times, and tabloid excesses in Britain are well documented. But sympathy for the underlying trauma does not mean every legal claim is automatically strong or every accusation automatically proven. The Associated Newspaper's judgment demonstrated that suspicion, however understandable, is not enough in court. That creates a complicated public picture. Harry invokes Diana to explain why he fights the press, but when the fight itself becomes contested, expensive, and unsuccessful, critics argue that Diana's tragedy is being used to shield a campaign from ordinary scrutiny. The centre bail dispute adds another uncomfortable layer.
Let's go back in time. In September, a story broke, okay? And it was so clear that Harry was already starting to use Diana's legacy for personal gain. And this is very different from an authentic event where two brothers want to celebrate their mother. But it looks like Harry has been exploiting Diana for some time. And this comes at a very big cost for Prince William because he's back.
Centre was co-founded by Prince Harry and Prince Sieso of Lesotho in 2006 in memory of Diana, with a mission focused on children and young people in Southern Africa, especially those affected by HIV and AIDS. In 2025, Harry and Prince Sieso stepped down as patrons amid a bitter dispute involving the charity's chair, Dr. Sophie Shandauka, and the board. The Charity Commission later criticised the way the dispute played out publicly, found governance mismanagement, and said the row risked harming the charity's reputation and beneficiaries. It also found no evidence of widespread or systemic bullying or harassment, including misogyny or misogynoir, while acknowledging the strong perception of ill treatment felt by parties involved. In 2026, Centre filed a defamation claim against Harry and Mark Dyer, which they rejected. That is not a minor footnote. It is a charity founded in Diana's memory, becoming entangled in public dispute, legal action, and reputational damage. For a Diana Award anniversary, this context matters because one of the charity's core programs is anti-bullying. The Diana Award runs anti-bullying training and peer-led ambassador work in schools. That mission is serious and valuable. But if Harry is prominent in any Diana Award program, while other public disputes involving bullying allegations, online attacks, or governance rows are still part of the public conversation, critics will inevitably raise questions. That does not mean Harry should be barred from honouring his mother. It does mean organisers need to understand the reputational terrain. Charity events are not just about sentiment, they're about credibility. If a charity dedicated to young people and anti-bullying becomes the stage for a royal reunion that looks more like brand repair than service, the criticism will be predictable and perhaps avoidable. The September 2025 donation to BBC Children in Need is another example of how narrative and charity can become tangled.
This woman. But Harry and Meghan are as bad as each other. They both know that Diana is priceless. And so when the censorship crusade isn't bringing the public on board, when Invictus isn't bringing the public on board, what is the trump card? That trump card is Diana, who, I don't know about you insiders, I have never met anyone that hasn't liked Princess Diana. I've never met someone that said a bad word against her. And it's worth noting as well how...
At the time, reputable outlets reported that Harry personally donated £1.1 million to support youth work, particularly around young people affected by violence. His team said the money came from him personally, rather than Archewell. That was a significant donation, and the work it supported was important. But critics still saw the announcement as part of a broader image rehabilitation moment during a UK visit, because charitable giving by royals and former royals is never purely private once it is publicised. The question is not whether the money helped. It almost certainly did. The question is why the announcement needed to be framed as it was, why it appeared when it did, and how much of Harry's charitable identity is still tied to the emotional inheritance of Diana. In royal life, even generosity becomes part of narrative architecture. The palace is also not innocent in this. It would be too simple to say Harry and Meghan used Diana while the institution stands nobly aside. The monarchy has long understood the emotional power of Diana's memory, even when it found Diana herself difficult. The institution struggled badly after her death because the public sensed emotional distance and defensiveness. Since then, Diana has become both a wound and a resource for the royal family. William's work can draw moral strength from her memory. Harry's story can draw sympathy from her memory. Charles and Camilla's reign is still judged in part against public memory of Diana. The palace may not always speak her name loudly, but her presence sits behind many judgments about the modern monarchy. That is why any attempt to use Diana as a bridge between Harry and the family is so tempting. It offers emotional cover for a reconciliation that may not yet have the trust to stand on its own. King Charles's role is particularly complicated. Recent reporting indicates that Charles met Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet privately at Highgrove in July 2026, the first time he had seen his Sussex grandchildren in person for years. For many families, that would be a simple, good thing, a grandfather seeing his grandchildren.
Public on board, when Invictus isn't bringing the public on board, what is the trump card? That trump card is Diana, who, I don't know about you insiders, I have never met anyone that hasn't liked Princess Diana. I've never met someone that said a bad word against her. And it's worth noting as well how the press demonized her, how the establishment went against her. This woman went through so much. I still can't believe she passed when she was 36 years old. I'm 30.
But the royal family is not an ordinary family. Every private meeting becomes public symbolism, every accommodation offer becomes a signal, every leak becomes evidence of someone pushing a narrative. Charles may genuinely want peace with his younger son. He may also believe a less fractured family is better for the monarchy. But if reconciliation with Harry is handled in a way that pressures William or ignores Catherine's experience, it could deepen one rift while softening another. A king can forgive as a father, but he also has responsibilities as head of the institution. This is why some royal watchers worry that William is being pushed toward a corner built out of sentiment. If Harry is invited to Balmoral, William must decide whether to be present. If Harry is offered royal accommodation, William must read the signal. If Harry attends a Diana Award gala, William must decide whether absence looks disrespectful. If Meghan attends a Diana-related event, Catherine's proximity becomes a fresh media question. Each individual step can be explained as family kindness, charity duty, or logistical necessity. Together, they can start to look like a campaign to normalize Harry's return to royal-adjacent life before the public, and perhaps William have seen any meaningful accountability for the damage done. The future of the monarchy sits behind all of this. The institution is already being slimmed down. Buckingham Palace is undergoing long-term renovation and is not functioning as the lived-in royal centre it once was. Younger audiences are less instinctively deferential. Polling over recent years has shown stronger support among older generations than younger ones. Charles has tried to present a monarchy that is more inclusive, environmentally engaged, and open to Britain's multi-faith reality. Some people see that as necessary modernization. Others fear it weakens the monarchy's historic role in a constitutionally Christian country. William will inherit not only the crown, but a debate about what the crown is for.
The key witness that was bullied and harassed by Harry's legal team because he wouldn't be intimidated to sign off on a pre-drafted statement. We've got Sophie at Centre Barley, who's due with Harry in the High Court. The date hasn't been set yet, but Sophie, a black woman, claims she was the victim of racism, misogyny, she said Harry waged a war against her and used a smear campaign in the mainstream media and unleashed the Sussex PR machine against her.
If the monarchy becomes too ceremonial, it risks irrelevance. If it becomes too political, it risks division. If it becomes too celebrity-facing, it risks looking like the very media machine Diana suffered under. This is the trap William must avoid. The Balmoral question, the accommodation question, and the question of shared royal spaces all belong to the same wider problem. A family can forgive privately in a way an institution cannot publicly blur. If Harry is invited into a royal setting, newspapers will treat it as a thaw. If Meghan is present, it becomes a bigger story. If William is absent, it becomes a snub. If William is present, it becomes a reunion. The palace may think it can control those interpretations, but it cannot. Modern royal coverage turns every seating plan, every car arrival, every church walk, and every photograph into evidence. That means boundaries have to be decided before the event, not improvised afterwards. William cannot be expected to spend the next few years reacting to situations designed by other people. If his future reign is to have authority, he has to be allowed to set limits around his own family, his own wife, his own children, and his own mother's memory. This is especially important for Catherine. Too often, discussions of William and Harry treat Catherine as a supporting character in a brother's drama, but she was drawn directly into the Sussex story and into public arguments she never sought. She has also been dealing with her own health and public responsibilities. Any attempt to engineer a Diana-based reconciliation that ignores Catherine's comfort would be reckless. The monarchy relies heavily on the public trust invested in the Prince and Princess of Wales as a unit. If the palace or the press appear to use Diana to pressure William into scenes that make Catherine vulnerable to renewed comparison, tension, or media speculation, the damage could be serious. Protecting William's position also means protecting Catherine's peace. The charity sector should be cautious too.
I have huge concerns for Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, because the fact that the Diana Awards is the last joint patronage for Harry and William, this is a gigantic problem, because they will end up being in the same room at the same time. And this really will affect Prince William, but it will just keep raising Harry's currency up and up and up. Will there be a documentary? We don't know. The way that William should handle.
A high-profile royal gala can raise money and awareness, but it can also swallow the cause. The Diana Award exists to empower young people, recognize social action, mentor, and fight bullying. Those missions are much more important than whether two famous brothers stand 6 feet apart in black tie. If the cameras focus on facial expressions, body language, who arrives first, whether Meghan is greeted, whether William looks tense, and whether Harry mentions reconciliation, then the young people become background decoration. That would be a failure of priorities. The charity's safest route is to make the anniversary about Diana's values and the young people living them now, not about using young people as the emotional wallpaper for a royal standoff. That is also why William's media strategy matters. He has increasingly shown a willingness to speak through formats beyond the traditional royal rota, using podcasts, documentaries, social media, and direct communication around causes such as homelessness and the Earthshot Prize. That does not mean he rejects the press entirely, but he seems aware that the old palace media relationship cannot simply continue unchanged. Harry also challenged the press, but he did it through litigation, interviews, and accusation. William's challenge is quieter: to reduce dependence on hostile or sensational coverage without turning royal communication into personal grievance. If he becomes king, he will need to protect the monarchy from both tabloid exploitation and Sussex-style confessional content. The public may tolerate privacy from William because he has not tried to sell every private wound. That reserve is one of his strongest assets. The viewer question about whether the monarchy could be reduced like other European monarchies is not far-fetched. Many European royal houses survive with less mystique, less political weight, and less global fascination than the British monarchy.
Love your show. I'm not from the UK. Gacky goat, you're lucky. It's absolutely blimmin' awful here at the moment. And we do have a heat wave, and I have no aircon in my home studio. It's boiling. Okay, so you've said, I am curious to know what you think about this. Do you think in the next 20 to 30 years, the British monarchy will still be standing, or they will be greatly reduced in relevance like other European monarchies? This is a brilliant, brilliant question. So yes, I think it absolutely will be reduced. I think if we look at the clear...
Britain could move in that direction over time. A smaller, more functional monarchy may be inevitable, but reduction is not the same as survival. The British monarchy's strength has always come from a strange mixture of ceremony, continuity, faith, family, service, and emotional theatre. Strip away too much ceremony and it becomes a public-funded celebrity household. Strip away too much emotional connection and it becomes a museum. Lean too heavily into emotion and it becomes a soap opera. Diana understood, perhaps better than anyone, the emotional power of monarchy. The tragedy is that the institution did not know how to manage that power while she was alive. The danger now is that everyone wants to harvest it after her death. So what should happen around the 30th anniversary? The cleanest answer is restraint. The Diana Award should focus on young people, not royal theatre. If William and Harry both support the charity, they can do so in ways that do not force a reunion scene. They can record separate messages. They can attend separate events. They can support the same mission without giving the media a money shot that becomes bigger than the cause. If private reconciliation happens, let it happen privately first. If trust is rebuilt, the public will see it eventually. But a public gala built around unresolved family wounds risks turning Diana's memory into a stage prop. That would not honor her. It would exploit the public's tenderness toward her. There is a simple communications test that could guide everyone involved. Would this plan still make sense if there were no cameras? Would it still serve young people if no headline used the words reunion, feud, truce, snub, or olive branch? Would it still honor Diana if Harry and Meghan were not in the country for Invictus? Would it still be scheduled the same way if William and Harry's relationship were not a global media obsession?
Great point. And again, do we know, will Prince William be in Balmoral when this happens? This is why I won't stop going on about it. Prince William is being backed into a corner by the establishment. If it's not the Diana Awards, it will be a trip to Balmoral. And this is the problem. Charles allows Meghan and Harry to behave like this because he sees nothing wrong with it. Otherwise, ask yourself this. Why has he not reprimanded them? He has given them a free license to do as and what they want.
If the answer to those questions is yes, then the event may be built on the right foundation. If the answer is no, then the anniversary risks being shaped around spectacle, and Diana, of all people, deserves better than spectacle disguised as healing. Harry also has a choice. If he truly wants to honor Diana in 2027, he can do it without placing William under pressure. He can support young people quietly. He can keep Meghan's role modest, rather than allowing speculation that she's being brought closer to Diana's legacy. He can avoid documentary projects or anniversary content that reopen wounds for commercial platforms. He can recognize that Diana belongs to both brothers and that silence can sometimes be more respectful than speech. Most importantly, he can stop assuming that grief exempts him from criticism. The public can feel compassion for the boy behind the coffin and still question the adult prince's decisions. The palace has a choice too. If it wants reconciliation, it needs to understand that public trust cannot be rebuilt through choreography. The public has watched too much, it has heard too much. It has seen accusations made, interviews sold, books published, streaming deals signed, family pain turned into content, and charities pulled into dispute. A few warm stories in friendly newspapers will not erase that. Any return of Harry to royal adjacent life must be handled with honesty about boundaries. Is he a private family member? Is he a charitable figure? Is he a quasi-royal guest? Is Meghan part of official remembrance, or simply Harry's wife attending privately? The public can accept complexity, but it resents being spun. In the end, Diana's legacy does not need saving by a black tie gala, a Netflix project, a palace briefing, or a Sussex photo strategy. Her legacy survives because people remember what she represented at her best. Emotional courage, human contact, glamour used for unpopular causes, and a willingness to go where polite society hesitated.
Come down hard on Prince William, which I think is absolutely sickening. They're going to get a big shock, the mainstream media, when Prince William comes into power. They're not going to get the kind of tabloid fodder they want from him because he's not interested in playing that game. Never forget the role the mainstream media played in the breakdown that Princess Diana had when they pushed and pushed her. They treated her like she was meat in a meat market, and I don't think Prince William has ever forgiven them for that, and neither should he.
William can honour that through duty. Harry can honour it through service. The palace can honour it by refusing to weaponise her memory. The media can honour it by resisting the temptation to turn the anniversary into another feeding frenzy. And the public can honour it by refusing to be manipulated by sentiment when the facts are still unresolved. The question is not whether Harry and William will stand in the same room in 2027. The question is what price would be paid for that image. If the price is William's dignity, Catherine's peace, Diana's memory, or the credibility of a youth charity, then the image is not worth it. Let Diana rest. Let the young people the charity serves take centre stage. Let family reconciliation happen in private before it is sold as public healing. And let the monarchy learn the lesson it should have learnt 30 years ago. When human pain becomes a public commodity, everyone involved eventually loses something sacred.